What is up, you guys? What is up? How are y'all doing? I know I'm back with another one of my random ass streams that I never schedule because I never schedule these. I literally just be like, I'm going live. But I found out that I won't have work for like a whole week. So I'm like, fuck it, dude. I'll just talk football then. Just talk football with the homies. Whoever. But no, I found plenty to talk about today. Now that we're in the preseason, things are kind of rolling. There's a lot of football to talk about, dude. And we're gonna start off with this Ashton Jeanty injury. And dude, it was looking scary all day. Like I've been looking on X, and obviously we don't have any clip, we didn't have anything. I just heard that he was running a route and he collided with a teammate. I don't know if it was on the defense or the offense, but it sounded like Ashton Jeanty. And correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the chat. But it sounded like Ashton Jeanty. Sorry, I gotta adjust my beanie here. Sounded like he collided with another Raiders player, and I, I it sounded like he went down, right? Like he went down and he like popped back up, and he just like couldn't put any weight on his leg, dude. I forgot if it was the right or the left. Sorry, I'm forgetting, dude. I was looking at it all day today and I totally forgot, so I apologize. But yeah, so it sounded like couldn't put any weight on it. He had to be helped off, and everybody was like down on their knees, kind of silent, and it sounded like Ashton Jeanty was seriously hurt. And it sounded like it was bad, dude. Like just off of everything that everybody said today, they were making it sound like it was a possible ACL tear or ACL injury, MCL, something with the knee, right? But we just recently found out, I've been watching, waiting on X along with, I'm sure, the rest of Raiders Nation, and it sounds like it's just ankle sprain. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. And the ankle sprain with Ashton Jeanty, I really don't know the timeline on that, but he'll get better from that. He'll get better from an ankle sprain, dude. If you ever had an ankle sprain, you get better with it in time. It's not the end of it's not the end of the world. Give it however many weeks to just like nurse it and get it back to normal. But Ashton Jeanty is going to be okay, and he's not out for the season. So that is a massive, and I mean massive, positive for the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And they're in a year where they're going to figure out a lot of different things. They got a new head coach. There's just a lot going on with the Raiders. Hopefully on the come up, but they're gonna want Ashton Jeanty there for this ride that they're about to embark on with their new head coach Kubiak. So really positive, and I'm super pumped that Ashton Jeanty is. I'm not pumped about him having an injury, but what I'm pumped about is that it's just a sprain. I don't know I don't know the grade of sprain, how long he's gonna be out, like I said, but it sounded like he seriously avoided like major injury, and that you know that's great. That's great, because I've literally been waiting all day, and I'm sure some of you guys have too. Like, what's the deal with Ashton Jeanty? Like, is he gonna be out for the season? And I'm sure a lot of Raiders Nation were like, fuck, just give us the details. Don't know if we're gonna be waiting for MRI tomorrow or something, you know what I mean? But I mean, a sprain, bro, like that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And he'll definitely be out there this season. That's not even the type of injury, like a soft tissue injury that's going to be something that's nagging. Whatever grade that sprain is with Ashton Jeanty, they just need to give it time. I'm sure the Raiders are going to be really smart about this. I'm sure they're going to be really smart about this, right? And get him back to normal. And some point during this season, he's gonna be playing. And if I were to guess right off the bat, this is just me guessing. I'm no doctor. Right? So I don't know the level of sprain it is, but just me guessing with this thing with Ashton Jeanty, I wouldn't be shocked if he's definitely there week one. This is just me guessing off a sprain. But he really avoided a major injury, and that's the best news we could have got for Ashton Jeanty, dude. Best news, especially with their running backs, right? Like, I recently did a video on Washington. Raiders fans really like that. And dude, it's funny. I made that video, and on that video with Washington, like, he ran a 4.33 in the 40-yard dash, but Raiders fans pointed it out, and they kind of made a good point. He's still he still has wheels, right? He still has really good acceleration. But they pointed it out in the video, they're like, "Oh, he don't run 4.33 with pads on." I'm like, yo, you guys might be right. I'm not gonna lie, you guys might be right, dude. He may not, but between Ashton, Jeanty starting and Washington, the Raiders running back could be pretty damn good this year, dude. They could. Like, this could probably be the best they've had since Josh Jacobs was there. And I feel like even when Josh Jacobs was with the Las Vegas Raiders, he was being slept on, dude. I feel like people were hella sleeping on Josh Jacobs, even though he would flash like excellence at times for the Las Vegas Raiders. But this is the best case scenario. I'm super pumped that it's only a sprain, right? Again, not pumped about the injury, but he seriously avoided something that everybody on the internet, everybody on X, they made it sound so serious, and I was so worried and so concerned for Ashton Jeanty. So, hey man, the season's coming. The season's almost here. By the way, if you're watching this, be sure to drop a like, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to share this out, bro. Let's get some more people in here. And be sure to get live in the chat too. Type anything in there, we'll talk about it, bro. We talk about it. Talk about anything going on around the NFL right now. We're just gonna hit up anything and everything, bro. As long as you're not acting crazy. Don't be acting crazy on me. All right? I know some of you guys get crazy in the comments on things, especially in the chat. All right, next thing, Deshaun Watson. Like, did you guys see? I made a video. Did you guys see Deshaun Watson's like comments? And I get it, right? Like, the fact that they cheered for Deshaun Watson when he got hurt, and they booed in this last game in the preseason. And I get it, right? Like, it's never fun for probably a player to be booed. I've never experienced it, so I don't know. But, you know, Deshaun thinks it's like a personal thing. I don't think it was ever personal with the Cleveland Browns. I don't. I'm sure he took it personal, the fact that they cheered when he got hurt. I think that may have been what Deshaun Watson was talking about, maybe. But I kind of got the vibe that he was talking about all the allegation and all the shit. That's the vibe I got from Deshaun Watson. He was talking. And I'm like, bro, this is strictly about football. Like, it's nothing more than that. It's strictly football. They just want to see you perform and put out a good product out on the field. They're literally paying you 45 46 million per year, Deshaun Watson. Hell of a lot of money. Like, a ton of money they're paying Deshaun Watson. Too much money, right? And, you know, I've been like, whenever I talk about this Deshaun Watson and Shedeur thing, gotta be careful, dude, because they got fans. Shedeur has more fans. Shedeur Sanders has like diehard fans. Deshaun Watson, they've kind of died off a little bit, right? But I remember in the early days when Deshaun Watson first came to Cleveland, if you criticize that dude in any type of way on the internet, and if I remember right when I started YouTube, I did a reaction video to Deshaun Watson, and I think it was to the I did a reaction video to just his game. Just kind of went over some of his throws when he was first starting for the Cleveland Browns. Dude, people were fucking like calling me out like, "Oh, you're wrong for this. Oh, but at the end of the day, the Lord will judge you." Da da da. Shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck you talk about? I'm like, I'm not talking about any of the law stuff. I'm like, you guys are thinking that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm talking about him on the football field. I'm just talking about his play, man. Just like a regular fan, like, did he play good or did he not? And so I see Deshaun Watson and I see his comments, dude, and it came off so salty. It came off so salty, and I'm like, dude, it's the Browns fans just want you to go out there and perform. And I'm repeating myself if you already watched my video talking about Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. And I think that Shedeur, if they listen, Todd Monken said that they're naming the starter for the Cleveland Browns tomorrow. If it's not Shedeur Sanders, not only are Shedeur fans going to go crazy, Cleveland Browns fans are going to fucking lose their minds, dude. The fact that they were booing him, the fact that they were booing Deshaun Watson lets me know that the fans do not want him out on the field. They don't. They don't, and they shouldn't. But just the way it came off, dude, it was like, it's nothing personal, bro. Like, it's nothing about the past and what's happened with everything when you were in Houston and all the allegations. They just want to see you perform. That's it. This is a franchise that, dude, they literally had Baker Mayfield. They got rid of Baker Mayfield to bring you in because you had star potential. And ever since Deshaun Watson has got to the Cleveland Browns, he literally has not gotten better. And I've been waiting for it myself. I'm like, okay, maybe he'll get better. Maybe he'll get better. I thought even in these preseason games, and I understand in preseason games, these OCs and DCs, they keep it super vanilla and they're really not calling much, right? But I thought with Todd Monken, I thought I thought I thought in some of these games, Deshaun Watson, I'm like, hey, dude, we've waited all these years. He finally has like a head coach who I think is a pretty damn good like offensive mind. Dude, Todd Monken, when he was with Baltimore, and I mean, he did have Lamar Jackson, so having Lamar helps. But it's like, dude, that Baltimore offense under Todd Monken was fucking balling. They were balling. And so I thought, bro, him going over to Cleveland right away, I was like, it's going to be a QB competition between him and Shedeur Sanders. And hopefully they make it a fair competition, right? But I'm like, I feel like this is a better offensive mind that they've gotten as opposed to their old coach, who's now with the Atlanta Falcons. But I'm like, I feel like if Deshaun Watson like really like gets into the offense and he's improved a little bit off of what we've seen in the past with him with Cleveland, I'm like, maybe we can get back a little bit of old Deshaun Watson, because in reality, I haven't really been expecting him to get back to, what he once was. I was like, I feel like that's honestly just kind of past. There's a little bit of me that's like, maybe he can return, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, man. But I thought with Todd Monken in these preseason games, right out the gate, I thought that Deshaun Watson would look like really good and explosive, because if you watch them in some of their training camp videos, he looked good. Even Shedeur looked good in some of those clips. But throughout these preseason games, and it's so hard because I don't want to like judge them off of their fucking preseason performance. But at the end of the day, this is a QB competition. The season's literally around the corner. Like, the Cleveland Browns need to figure out who is their starting quarterback so they can get this shit dialed in for week 1. And I saw somebody on X, they were saying they wouldn't be shocked if Cleveland started off 4-1 to start the season. I'm like, I don't know about that, right? But they do have upside. They do have more weapons. And I just needed to see Deshaun Watson be decent. This past game, he's literally in there against backups, and he looked atrocious. He literally looked atrocious. It's Ray 775 says Ashton's injury wasn't serious. No, dude, it was just a sprain. Just a sprain. Now, I like I mentioned earlier, I don't know the grade of sprain it is, so I don't know how long he's gonna be out. But me just guessing, unprofessional. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I think that I wouldn't be shocked if he's back week 1 or week 2. Sounded like he seriously avoided a major injury. So that's a little update on that. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, dude. So I'm gonna read your guys' comments. I'm gonna read your comments. Maybe I won't stop talking about what I'm talking about so I don't forget, right? But I'll definitely read them. And make sure to get active in that chat and bring up anything going on around the NFL, and we can sit here and talk about it for a bit. I got some time. But no, I just think Deshaun Watson, his comments, I feel like his comments didn't do him any justice. And Todd Monken is like, oh, he's just hurt, da. It doesn't have any effect. I'm telling you guys, if they make Deshaun Watson the starter, not just Shedeur fans, I'm talking Cleveland fans, outside football fans, everybody is going to look at the Cleveland Browns, a franchise that literally gets a ton of criticism, and they've been really struggling to find a QB. They fucking had one in Baker Mayfield, and they got rid of him, right? But if they go with salute my guy. If they go with Deshaun Watson, massive mistake. I don't think he's going to get better. I'm telling you that right now. And I could be wrong. If they name Deshaun Watson the starter, hell, maybe he gets better during the course of a season. That is possible. That is possible. Because Deshaun Watson, while he's been in, and he's been dealing with injuries every single year he's played, but with Cleveland. But during the course of a season, a quarterback, just any position, can get better during the course of a season, right? And the one thing that I'll give Watson, along with Shedeur Sanders, just for the fans that are watching them, whoever they name starter, you got to realize that they are in a first year with a new head coach, a new offense, and sometimes that shit takes time. I feel like we as fans, we expect it to just we expect the product to look great right out of the gate, and that's just not the case with offense. It's not. It's not. Offense is not like defense. Like defense could just like line up and just, you know, the scheme doesn't have to be technical and they can like get a stop. On offense, it's way more technical and you literally have to give it time. BTB apologetic says, don't put dude, but I ain't even reading that. I ain't even reading that. I ain't even reading that. That's crazy. That's crazy. But they did pay him a lot. They did pay him a lot. I don't know if you guys remember when they paid Deshaun Watson, but the whole league was losing their minds. Rightfully so. They just give him the most money ever for a QB. It's like, what? What? Like, you can chill. Like, there is a buildup with these contracts. You don't just full clip a bunch of money to a guy that literally hasn't been playing for a bit, right? But hey, bro, Cleveland, they just be doing their thing. Their owner is interesting, but their GM, honestly, he's making moves. Like, I don't think the GM is bad and all, but I'm very interested to see who Todd Monken names as a starter tomorrow. I'm very interested. Like, who do you guys think is going to be the starter? Let me know in the chat. Who do you think is going to win the starting job out of Deshaun Watson and Shadur Sanders? You guys tell me. I'm curious. I am very curious. All right, let's see what else we got here, bro. I got a lot for you guys. Usually whenever I come into these lives, I just wing it, but I'm like, nah, I actually got some shit to talk about this time. All right, yeah. So I recently made a video on the Chargers, their offensive line. I thought they did a good job drafting, offensive linemen, because what do they take, like 3 or 4 offensive linemen? And then shortly after, their center, Tyler, and I forget how to say his name, dude. Like, I'll mispronounce his name. But the Chargers starting center, Tyler, literally out for the season with torn ACL. Yeah. And if I remember right, based off of what I've saw, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was in the joint practices against the San Francisco 49ers. Correct me if I'm wrong, just off of what I've heard and what I've seen. But I'm like, holy shit. Like, with the Los Angeles Chargers this past season, they were dealing with injuries on the offensive line, and that was part of their downfall, dude. That was literally part of their downfall. And, obviously they got Clap back. They get who else did they get back? I'm gonna make sure I don't mess up their names, dude. Cause let me see. I don't want to mess this up for y'all. I don't want to sound like a dumbass. Tackles. Rashawn Slater. I'm pretty sure Rashawn Slater's he's like still recovering. Yeah, Joe Alt. So Joe Alt is healthy on the right, but Rashawn Slater is still recovering on the left, and he's their starting left tackle. And those are 2 damn good tackles on the left and the right. Okay, and so they add a bunch of these draft picks, and now they're probably gonna have to plug and play one of these guys into the center position, a guard. I don't know. But my biggest concern with the Los Angeles Chargers losing their center and their tackles right now, like I said, Rashawn Slater is still recovering, so they're expecting him back. It's just taking some time, and they got Joe Alt. So your pass rush on the outside, you do have that locked up, right? Like, you do have good tackles on the outside. Your center is kind of interesting because with these centers, they could be pretty bad sometimes. They can be pretty bad. And my concern with the Los Angeles Chargers is without their starting center being in there, they have these guys. They brought in these young guys. They drafted offensive linemen, right? It's like, if you don't stick them in their true position and you get into this whole like shuffle here, putting a guard here, putting a guard on the right, you know what I mean? Having a guy that's center that doesn't play center. When you get doing the shuffle game on the offensive line, and there is no chemistry on the offensive line, shit can get really messy. Like it can get really messy. And we've seen it with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have done nothing but draft offensive linemen, right? And they're, a guy's out for this long, a guy's out of the building. Just so many things happening with the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, and they're doing the shuffle game, right? And so the Chargers, if it turns into a shuffle game, and hopefully everybody's just like healthy the rest of the season, right? Like everything just works out. But if they get into the shuffle game like the Kansas City Chiefs, it could get rough for them later on in the season. And I look at the Los Angeles Chargers right now. I think that they're going to be a playoff team. But where I'm concerned is with these offensive linemen moving around and shit, you get into the postseason up against some of these better teams. Say they go up against a Houston. Do you think Houston could give an offensive line like that fits where they're not in their true position? That's the thing with that really worries me about the Chargers, because I'm like, if it goes that way, kind of this past season, how they were dealing with injuries, it'll be the same game with the Chargers, and it won't matter that McDaniel's there. It won't. It could a little, because McDaniel's like, he's pretty good about like getting the shit out quick, like the reads like quick, in motioning guys, having guys fly all over. That could accommodate that if that were, if that happened with the Chargers, if they're kind of having guys shuffling, the guy doesn't fit there, it might accommodate it a little bit. But when you get into the postseason up against some of these better defenses that they don't play that game, right? They're just going to attack the offensive line. They're going to get after the quarterback. That's where I'm concerned with the Chargers with that. So this is something to watch, dude. This is definitely something to watch, especially in the first, like I said, they got a lot of young guys. So I'd say in the first like 4 to 6 weeks with the Chargers, really pay attention to what they're doing on that offensive line. And also, like, if you're a Chargers fan, we'll see what's up with Rashawn Slater, because like I said, he's still recovering, and they're expecting him to be out there. But I'm like, we're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close to the regular season. We're not that far away. From it. So I don't know, man. A little bit worried about the Chargers, but there's no reason to panic yet. But it's definitely something to watch, in my opinion. What else? Oh, bro, I bet y'all are gonna roast me for this shit. I know that, I guarantee it. So did you guys watch this game tonight between the Titans and the Seattle Seahawks? Like, I literally watched all the way up until the fourth quarter. Then I had to go see a family member that's about to leave to Boston. But I'm like watching this Titans defense, like their starting defense out there up against Drew Lock and them. And the Seattle offense is just taking them, just bop, bop, bop. They're literally just driving up the field and doing whatever they want. Like, Drew Lock was looking great out there up against their defense. And I knew it. I hopped on X, looking at my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, NFL Twitter's going crazy. They were already going crazy. They're like, this solid defense looks like trash, this and that, da 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 da. And I'm like, honestly, they didn't really look that good, if I'm being real with you. They didn't. They looked pretty bad. And for a Robert Saleh defense, I'm like, I understand it's preseason, but this is pretty bad. But the reason I'm not worried about the Titans defense even looking like this, and even with Cam Ward and them in the offense looking rough, but mainly the defense, the reason I'm not worried about the Titans defense is, dude, I've seen some of these defensive coordinators that become head coaches. I've seen them, what is it, like you get like the second half of the season and their defense just fucking turns up, dude. Like, straight up, like they just turn up, like they're a complete different unit. Mike Macdonald with the Seattle Seahawks, his first year with Seattle, their defense was kind of for like the first half of the season, his first year. And then the second half of the season with Mike Macdonald, that defense for Seattle turned up. They literally like flipped a switch, dude. Okay? And so like it literally took half of a season. And now, look at the Seattle Seahawks now with Mike Macdonald. Look how good they are now. He knows his personnel better. He has some of the players that he wants, some of the players that he's drafted, guys that have developed. That's kind of the same thing I see with Robert Saleh. I knew people were gonna start to troll and people were gonna get to talking, and rightfully so. I mean, didn't look the best, right? Looked pretty bad, but I'm like, hey, just let this thing play out with Robert Saleh. And I mean, if we're halfway point of the season and the Tennessee Titans defense is just pretty awful, then I'm like, okay, Rob, like something's got to change, right? And I'm sure Tennessee and like all that, I'm sure they'll get to talking. And I'd be shocked if Robert Saleh was like a one and done. I'm pretty sure this is something that they're gonna like kind of let play out, especially with Robert Saleh. I mean, Robert Saleh, just in terms of like defensive coordinators, he's like one of the best. He's considered one of the best, right? So I think after how like the whole Vrabel thing played out, I don't think they're gonna rush this and just get rid of a guy, right? I think they're just gonna give this like 2 or 3 years to see what happens. Now, we get into the second year and it's looking pretty rough. Maybe things might change, but I think that they're gonna be a little bit more patient with this because they just had a guy that a lot of people loved, a lot of people respected, freaking left the building, wait a couple years, goes to the New England Patriots, go to the Super Bowl. We know that the Tennessee Titans look back at that and they're like, bro, we should have fired our GM and we should have kept Mike Vrabel. Let's not forget Mike Vrabel, the night of the draft when they traded in 2021, when they traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles, bro. You could just see Mike Vrabel like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? But just give this time. Let's give it time. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Hell, even I jump to conclusions. I'm not even going to lie to you, dude. I do, and then I'm like, Shaydy, just wait. Just let it play out. It's early on in the season. Even in those first couple weeks in the regular season, I'm always freaking out about stuff. And then later on in the week, I'm like, hey, let's settle down. Because early on in the NFL, it is very hard to tell who's good and who's not. You just can't tell in the first couple weeks. It's something that comes a little bit later in the season. So, Titans fans, I wouldn't panic, right? Don't get too crazy. Let's see what else I've got. By the way, get active in that chat, bro. Get active in that chat. Let's see. BTB Apologetic says it should be Shadur Sanders, but they're gonna go with Deshaun Watson. Dude, I feel the same way. I'm like, it should be Shadur Sanders, but I'm like, I could see them going with Deshaun Watson. But hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Like I said, if they decide to go that route, I don't really think that Cleveland fans are going to be too excited about that. I don't think they're going to be happy. And all it takes is for a fan base to just get loud, start talking, you know what I mean? Not feeling the franchise, want people out of the building. All it takes is for people to get loud. And sometimes, when it comes to those QB competitions or that set QBs in, not looking good, the internet, like the fans on their own talking, but the internet's loud, dude. The internet is very, very loud. It's not like it was 20 years ago. And so all people have to do is get to talking. If they really don't like what's happening at the quarterback position, fans can kind of get their way. Not entirely, right? Not entirely, because at the end of the day, these franchises are going to do what they want. These coaches are going to do what they want. But there's some of these teams, they do listen to the fans, dude. And like I said, the internet can get very loud. The internet can get very loud. But, yeah, dude. Moving on. Falcons QB Jack Strand, dude. This dude looks amazing. He looks great for the Atlanta Falcons, right? Like, we've been watching Tua, and, I want to see Tua be good on the Falcons, but this little bit in the preseason games I'm watching, I'm like, he don't look good. He don't give the Atlanta Falcons fans something to look forward to. Like, it doesn't look the best, man. You know what I mean? By the way, if you're watching this, I'm gonna keep repeating it. Be sure to drop a like, be sure to subscribe, and check out all the content on my channel. But yeah, the QB, like Tua Tagovailoa, he just hasn't looked good for the Atlanta Falcons. And like I hear around their fan base, and they don't even seem too excited about Tua, right? And I'm willing. I'm like, okay, well, like if they're probably gonna name Tua the starter just because Penix literally has not been in. So there's like a real scenario where Tua starts out the season, and if Tua's not good, then Penix would come in later. But let's say Penix isn't good, right? And is Cooper Rush with the Atlanta Falcons, if I remember right? This rookie, Jack Strand, bro, Division II football player. Now, I know it's a stretch for a Division II football player to possibly be a starter. So I'm not sitting here and saying that could this dude be the starter? That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is in that QB room, he looks very good and he's impressing. And we'll just see how this QB thing shakes out with Atlanta because I'm all for it. It's like that's crazy to say, but you know, if Tua doesn't work out, if Penix doesn't work out, you gotta try things, Atlanta. Like you gotta try things with different quarterbacks. I'm just saying, like you guys gotta put different quarterback out there. Try things. Pause. But you just gotta put a different quarterback out there. If it's not working out with the other two, I don't know. Like is Jack and is he gonna be the starter? And no, not is he gonna be the starter? Is he gonna be the third string ahead of Cooper Rush? Now I'm assuming, I'm just coming up with some shit that's probably not gonna happen. Like maybe they make him the third string. I wish they would over Cooper Rush. But I think that he's been playing phenomenal football. He has. Like he's literally made it exciting to watch Atlanta Falcons games. These couple preseason games I've been peeking in on. But these other QBs, like, that's just like, no, I don't like the product out on the field. I don't like it one bit. And Atlanta has a bunch of playmakers, and it'll be really sad this year if whoever is playing QB out of Tua and Penix, if they do nothing, right? And then it's just all on Bijan Robinson to just pull off the spectacular every other play, right? And then Drake London downfield, just having to make spectacular catches over defensive backs. I'm like, I don't like what's going on. I do not like what's going on with the quarterback position with the Atlanta Falcons. And this dude, Jack Strand, like, let me look at this real quick. So Jack Strand stats in college. Let me look at this. Because if I looked at it right. Okay, Jack Strand, undrafted rookie for the Atlanta Falcons. Prolific record-breaking career at Division II Minnesota State University Moorhead. I like it, bro. Really small college. Across 42 games, he completed 64% of his passes and had 13,161 yards, 126 touchdowns. God damn. This dude was cooking. It was too easy for him. in Division II football. He should have went up. That's some pretty good stats, dude. Rushing touchdowns 9. Set MSUM single season record with 3,914 passing yards, 36 passing touchdowns. 1 NSIC Offensive Player of the Year. Hey, my dude is cooking, bro. 2025 as a senior. Let me see. Led the NSIC with 3,546 passing yards and a program record 42 passing touchdowns. Finished 4th in Harlan Hill Trophy voting as a national finalist. My guy, hey, those some really good accolades. My dude is he's a baller. He's a baller, and I'm excited to watch him in the Atlanta Falcons last preseason game because I don't know if he's going to end up on the practice squad. I don't know if he could possibly get that third QB spot. I don't know. All I know is that whenever I watch this team and their QBs, he's the only one that's been consistent for the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm not even a Falcons fan, but I enjoy watching good Atlanta Falcons football, especially in the NFC South, dude. Like, if you look at the NFC South, like, there is no team that's just pulled away from the others. You look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were supposed to do it this past season. They didn't. The Carolina Panthers literally won the division. It was super close, but the Carolina Panthers won the division. The New Orleans Saints, they were pretty good in the back half of the season, but even they have something to prove there. Then there's you guys. You guys are literally right there in the race. That's why this quarterback thing is so massive. Even with a first-year head coach. I'm like, even with a first-year head coach, you guys could literally compete in division in the NFC South. Dude, the NFC South has just been crazy for the last little bit, right? It just hasn't been good, but I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping with the whole Strand thing, but I'm like, is there a way we can find it? Is there a way we can get this dude as the third QB, and force Cooper Rush out? Because I want to see this guy play. Cooper Rush has been in the league long enough. And I understand you got to value backup quarterbacks. I understand that. But I'm like, well, I mean, he looks exciting to watch. So come on now. Give the people what they want, bro. All right, man. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, I got you. I got you with this. Are NFL kickers too OP? And I asked that. I don't believe it, right? But I saw somebody, dude, I've seen a lot of people on X. Dude, I don't even know why I get on X, bro. That place is freaking rowdy. It's just rowdy. But like, I get NFL information on there because it's just like fast, right? From Schefter, Ian, and like all those guys and all the other really good reporters. But, in Harrison Butker, he hit that 69-yard field goal. And if that were the regular season, he literally would have broke the record, right? And people are losing their minds. People are losing their minds. They're like, they gotta do something about this. This isn't okay. NFL kickers, they shouldn't be able to kick a field goal that long. Da 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 da. I'm like, oh, whoa. Like, slow your roll. Chill. Because honestly, yeah, it's like, damn, bro, that is a long field goal. It's like, oh, you stopped the offense all the way back there? Okay, cool. They're going to trot out that kicker. That's just not the reality of the NFL, right? Like, besides that, it's like, dude, it's all like scenario based off of these kickers. So like there's halftime, end of the game, say you're needing a game winner. That's the only time they're going to trot out a kicker like that to possibly try to hit a long field goal. It's not something that is just going to be happening all the time, and kickers can just, they'll be like, oh, you know what? It's a second quarter. It's the start of the second quarter. Oh, you know what? Our kicker can hit a 69-yard field goal. We're just going to trot him out there. No, they're not doing that. And another thing, there's only like a couple kickers that can do that shit. There's literally a couple, like Butker and probably Aubrey. And there are other good kickers, but like to trust them to just be doing that at any point in the game, hit a 69-yarder? Hell no. Hell no. And, if you were to do that at any point in the game, it could put your defense in a rough spot. Like, come on, bro. I know some people are tripping about that, but I'm like, come on, man. Not all kickers are doing that. Like Butker, Aubrey, maybe one more other guy, but we're not seeing that all that much. So people that are freaking out about the kickers and where they're kicking, I'm like, dude, it's cool to me. Like, it's just cool to me because I'm like, you're not going to see it all the time. It's not going to be like a regular field goal attempt, So I just like, people just simmer down. Dude, sometimes I feel like we're so reactionary, me, myself included. We see things and we're like, what the fuck? And it's like, chill, just simmer, relax. And like I said, Aubrey, Butker's a good kicker. He's a phenomenal kicker, so like it's not that crazy. Something that I talked about in this video that I just made, the Dallas Cowboys, rookie linebacker, is, dude, I think that the Dallas Cowboys, they got some crazy talent on the defensive side. I truly believe that, right? And we saw this past season, the Dallas Cowboys, like, obviously their defense was a major. Their defense had issues, bro. Their defense had issues. And who do they have? Eberflus. When I saw that hire, when I saw Eberflus get hired on the Dallas Cowboys, I thought, hey, maybe Eberflus just being a coordinator, going back to just being a coordinator, not a head coach, maybe he can cook. Because even at times with the Chicago Bears, Matt Eberflus looked pretty solid as a DC. Like the Chicago Bears, their defense was never like superstars, so they weren't crazy good, but they were pretty solid, dude. Like, they were pretty solid under Matt Eberflus while he was there in Chicago. And you saw it as soon as he was fired, Their Caleb's rookie year, that defense went down the shitter. Like they literally started playing bad, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, Eberflus, he really, he must have been coaching up that defense good because they look real bad now without him. So I thought him going to the Dallas Cowboys, I was like, he could be good there. All it took was like 3 or 4 weeks with Matt Eberflus, and I was like, bro, get this dude out of here. Right? Like, I'm like, get this dude out of here because the Dallas Cowboys, we all know how good their offense, the offense was under Shaydy in his first year, mind you. But that defense under Eberflus was atrocious, dude. They were so bad. What's the question mark for, John? John D? What, you trying to ask a question? What you got, homie? Put it in the chat. But so I looked at Eberflus this past season, and I'm like, dude, it's not like the Dallas Cowboys it's not like they don't have good defensive players, because they do have good defensive players. And I mean, let's just go through some of their players right here, dude. Let me look. So let me see. All right, team. Let me look this up real quick. Make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Dallas Cowboys. Their lineup. Yeah. So literally they're gonna have Towns. They're gonna have Hooker. Overshown's good. D Winters, who they just traded for the San Francisco 49ers. At times, D Winters kind of looked like he had some crazy potential in that linebacker room with the San Francisco 49ers, right? They traded him away. I was kind of stunned when the San Francisco 49ers traded him away. But some of the people that I see cover the team, they're like, oh, he was too up and down, da 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 da. But I'm like, I don't know. Like at times I thought D Winters looked pretty solid. So they got those two linebackers. The rookie that they picked up in the second round, and I literally just made a video on him, bro. Barham. Yeah, Barham. He looked really good in this past preseason game. And that was really his only pro action in this last preseason game, because before that, he was dealing with a groin injury. So this past game against the Arizona Cardinals, dude, Barham, he looked really good, dude. He looked really good, and he was really active on his feet. So if you look at Overshown, D Winters, Barham, I'm like, those are some pretty good linebackers. Like, they should be pretty good, right? And then you look at the second-year player, Ravel, the corner. He has high upside. Obviously, they brought over Durant as the nickel corner. Deron Bland. Now, we'll see if Deron Bland can kind of return to what we've seen in the past. Deron Bland he had a down year this past season. Along with the rest of that defense, he had a down year. But they got other good players, dude, like Ezaraku. Obviously, they brought in Quinnen Williams. They got Clark. They have a good roster on the defensive side. Now, this is the thing with the Dallas Cowboys, though. They brought over Christian Parker from the Philadelphia Eagles under Vic Fangio. And Christian Parker was the defensive backs coach. So it's like, this is his first time as a defensive coordinator. And I just remember when Christian Parker was like being interviewed, a lot of people were viewing him like pretty high around the league. Some other people were interested in Christian Parker. Dallas Cowboys happened to get him in division up against my fucking Eagles. All right. I was like, why did you have to go to Dallas, bro? Why didn't you go somewhere else? But he landed in Dallas, and if he can bring out the best in this Dallas defense, like, we've heard so much talk about the Dallas Cowboys over the years, dude. Like, literally, what is it? The past 15, 20 years with the Dallas Cowboys. This is our year. This is our year. We're looking good this year. Possible Super Bowl. Dude, I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, but I'd sit and watch First Take, and I was like, oh my God, every single year. And I know they just be doing things right because Skip is a Dallas fan and Stephen A likes to troll and shit. But that's literally how a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans thought. Like, it was like, oh, this is our year. Everything looks good. And it's just never, it hasn't played out that way. But here's what I'll say about this Dallas Cowboys defense and just what they got personnel-wise. I really like what they got. And if Christian Parker can just coach, if he turns out to be a good defensive coordinator, the Dallas Cowboys should be good. They should be good, and they should be in the mix to possibly go to a Super Bowl this year. They should. And they should be right there with my Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East. literally neck to neck, dude. Like, I'm expecting the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles this upcoming year. I'm expecting them to split. So I'm expecting the Eagles to win one. I'm expecting the Dallas Cowboys to win one. And I wouldn't be shocked if either of the other went 2-0 on the other. I'm just expecting both of them to be good. And if this Dallas Cowboys defense, if they take a step in the right direction, like I said, they legitimately could be a Super Bowl team, a possible Super Bowl team. That's crazy for me to say that, and I know I'm going to get trolled for saying that shit. And I said possible because it's really dependent on if this defense can go out and do what I think they could possibly do with the personnel that they have right now. Like, I'm telling you, dude, I look at them the same way I do the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens really weren't that good this past season, right? And ever since Mike McDonald's left, they've been scrambling on the defensive side. They've just been up, they've been down, they've been up, they've been down. Now it's been down, right? And I'm like, dude, the Baltimore Ravens have great personnel, like the Dallas Cowboys, but it all comes down to them having a defensive mind that can bring out the best in their players, dude. You know? Because I mean, you look at Jesse Minter when he was with the Chargers, that Chargers defense was balling. They were balling, and they weren't even like all that star-studded, dude. He was just coaching the hell out of that defense, and they were doing a really good job. Chargers defense is probably going to take a dip this year. I'll be shocked if they're as good as they were this past season. And so, you know, back to the Dallas Cowboys, like I said, I look at them like Baltimore Ravens. They have the personnel. They can make it happen. If Christian Parker can just bring out the best in this Dallas Cowboys defense and make them, dude, they literally just need to be middle of the pack and above. That's it. That's it, because they were literally bottom this past season. We know the offense can go out and get points. They were literally a top scoring unit under Shaydy. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to championships in the NFL, as much as we love to, like, you know, clamor over the offense, defense wins championships. Nothing is shaking me off of that. And you hear some people, they'll be like, oh, well, the rules, it favors the offense. I understand that. But at times, refs will literally just let a corner, like some of these defensive backs, whether it's a corner on a wide receiver, right? A safety on a tight end, a linebacker on a running back. Dude, they'll literally let these guys battle it out downfield. Now, I know we get our bullshit penalties. That happens all the time. Every now and then, we're just going to get some lame-ass penalties from the refs. That'll happen. But sometimes these refs let these defensive players play it out. And if you have a defense that is really aggressive, makes it really rough for the defense, messes up their timing, just a lot of things going on, right? A lot of things just confusing the offense. If the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive side can be disruptive, they are going to be a good team. I'm telling you that right now. All these years that we've literally just clowned on them and wrote them off, if Christian Parker can rally this defense and this defense can be solid, they have a shot. They have a shot. Now, you know, we'll see how far, you know, however this goes. But I'm just very interested to see what happens on this defensive side, because I think that they got some real killers on that side of the ball. So, yeah, man. That Dallas Cowboys defense, they really do have good personnel. Just all comes down to coaching. Let's see, bro. What else do I got here? By the way, I'm going to keep mentioning it. Be sure to drop a like. Be sure to hit the subscribe. What else do I got here, man? We got a lot for you guys today. More than usual. More than my other lives. All right. Yeah. So I saw this. Article posted by Pro Football Talk. And I was like, yo, dude, what did happen to Dan Snyder? So let me see. I'm going to look at this. So this is by Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, NBC. And it's just talking about how, you know, it says the headline is 3 years since, damn, bro. Gotta get this off my screen. It says 3 years since Sailing Commanders Daniel Snyder has become invisible. And I saw that and I was like, I forgot about Dan Snyder. And, you know, the last time I remember hearing about Dan Snyder, this dude was out in the Mediterranean, literally on his yacht, refusing to come back to the US, right? Like literally refusing. You got a bunch of other NFL owners literally, hey, you need to sell your team. All these owners, they're like voting, bro needs to sell his team. Okay? Then you got crazy Dan Snyder out in the freaking Mediterranean on probably some crazy ass yacht, right? Just chilling, refusing to come back. And if I remember right, when Dan Snyder, like, let me look this up just so I don't fuck this up. Yeah, let me look this up. Um, so yeah, he sold the team in 2023 for $6 billion due to intense pressure from other NFL owners. Like I said, mounting financial and legal troubles, and severe fallout from investigations into toxic workplace culture and alleged financial impropriety. Woo! Like, I totally forgot about all that stuff. All I remember about that Dan Snyder shit is that the NFL owners literally wanted him to get rid of the team, and he was refusing, and he was kind of like hiding out in his yacht out in the freaking ocean, right? And then there's just all this shit coming out about the workplace for the Washington Commanders, and I'm like crazy, absolutely crazy. And at the time, the Commanders, they're literally trying to figure it out, right? Because who did they have? Who did they have as their head coach at the time? Who did they have, dude? It was who's the old head coach of the Carolina Panthers? Why am I forgetting his name, bro? Why am I forgetting his name? Old head coach of the Panthers. I'm sorry, guys. I'm literally like just forgetting. Ron Rivera. Oh my gosh. How could I forget that? He's part of the Andy Reid coaching tree as well. Hey, I'm an Eagles fan. I need to get on my shit. I'll tell you that right now. I need to get on my shit with that. That means me right off the top of my head. But yeah, that's back when Ron Rivera was coaching. And dude, it was such a weird vibe with the Commanders back then when Rivera was coaching and Snyder's literally just nowhere to be found, right? Crazy times. But I saw that article and it just made me think. I'm like, dude, I remember freaking Snyder was out in the ocean. The freaking feds are like trying to. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. What else do I got here, guys? It's getting hot in my room, bro. I might have to end this stream here in a little bit. Probably because I got this fucking beanie on. that's probably why, because I'm talking and I got this beanie on. Usually when I'm making a normal video, I'm only talking for like 5-10 minutes, and now we're on a stream. What are we up to? 53 minutes. Damn. But yeah, dude, do you guys think that Kayshon Boutte is gonna be traded? I've been thinking this because I recently made a video on the Las Vegas Raiders and how I think that they should trade for George Pickens. I think that they should trade for Pickens, Brian Thomas, Kayshon Boutte. Even though I didn't mention Kayshon Boutte in the video, I think he's another guy they should possibly trade for. But yeah, do you guys think that Kayshon Boutte is going to be traded? Because I think that there's some teams that honestly could use him. You hear me talk about not the Commanders. Hear me talk about the Raiders. I think that they could use Kayshon Boutte, right? Because if you go back and watch the video that I just made, Kubiak doesn't sound really good about the wide receiver group. And you know, there's some oh my God, I keep saying Commanders because we were talking about the Dan Snyder thing, but there's some Raiders fans that were telling me, they're like, oh, you know, we don't need wide receivers. We just need Brock Bowers. And I'm like, there are no teams that just operate straight off of their tight end, dude. It doesn't work like that anymore. Like, you got to have at least one good wide receiver. He doesn't even need to be elite. You just need one good wide receiver. They can't just have guys running on the side and just helping things clear out for Brock Bowers. It doesn't work like that. Like, we're not in the same NFL when we used to watch like Jimmy Graham, you know, Tony Gonzalez back in the day, Gronk, and so many others like that are just like the focal point of an offense. It's a pass happy league, and you gotta have at least one good wide receiver, because if you're dependent on your tight end in today's NFL, these tight ends get banged up a lot, dude. They do. I literally just thought of this on the fly. I literally clicked in my head just now. These tight ends in the NFL, they are such a threat. Like I'm not even gonna deny that they are such a threat, but you gotta have wide receivers, dude, because these tight ends get banged up. And so I look at the Raiders, they could use Kayshon Boutte, right? The Houston Texans could use Kayshon Boutte, and I'm trying to think of maybe a couple other teams that I just can't think of off the top of my head, but I think that he'd be a really good wide receiver to trade for because I thought he was really good with the Patriots this past season. You know, and obviously they brought over Romeo Doubs. They brought over A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's going to be the focal point. Then after, A.J. Brown, it'll be Romeo Doubs. And then you got Kayshon Boutte. You got Pop Douglas. You got freaking Kyle Williams. Chisholm. Is Chisholm going to be there? I'm assuming he'll be there along with Matt Collins. The Patriots got like a lot of wide receivers. They do. They have a lot of wide receivers. And you keep hearing about this talk with Kayshon Boutte, but I'm like, they don't even need to trade him. Like, if anything, I think that the Patriots should just keep him. I think that they should just keep him. Especially going into this year, I'm like, dude, you guys are going to have a deep, super deep wide receiver room. And if a guy goes down, you got one more other guy to pop up and go out and ball. I mean, we just watched Drake May this past season without star wide receiver, and he was pretty good. And so I'm like, bro, why not just keep Kayshon Boutte? But there's another side to that, right? Because, like, what year is Kayshon Boutte with his contract? Let me see. Kayshon Boutte contract. Yeah, so this upcoming year is literally the final year of his deal. So if the Patriots kept him, they'd be gambling because they're not going to get anything for him. They literally won't get anything for him. He'll literally just go into free agency. They're probably not going to re-sign him because they got other guys, right, that they're paying. So if they keep him, and say a wide receiver goes down, then that could benefit them. Or just say he's just there, everybody's healthy, but they rotate him in and he's just a threat along with the other wide receivers. That's a possibility. But if they keep him, and they don't really get anything from it, and they could get something now, like Kayshon Boutte, like there's teams just offering something for him right now. Like they could have got something. Then you got to look at it. It's like it's very like 50-50 of whether they should trade him or whether they should keep him. But if there's teams that want to trade for Kayshon Boutte, I think that he'd be really good for them. I really do. I truly believe that. But yeah, guys, I think that's all I got, man. What are we, almost to an hour? We're almost to an hour. I just haven't done a live in a little bit, so I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me pop on here and talk to people, see if people get a little bit live in the chat. It'd probably be better if I schedule these. I always say that at the first and the end of my streams. I'm like, it'd probably be better if I scheduled it. Sooner or later, I'll start scheduling these streams, but for now, we're just rolling on the fly. But you guys got anything else you want to talk about? I'll give it just a second. If you guys got anything you want to talk about, put it in the chat right now, and we can speak on it. Damn, bro, is it raining out there? It's freaking loud as hell. Must have been raining. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right. Nah, I think that's it for the night, man. You guys have a good one. I'm out. Peace.